After completing this lesson, you'll be able to create a new setup to cut the bottom of the car body and simulate the machining process to validate the programming. Continuing on from the previous lesson, or opening up the F1 car cam bottom Fusion Archive file using the new design from File, you'll return to the cam workspace where we currently have left and right setups. We have one more setup remaining to cut the bottom. To create this bottom setup, right-click on the right side setup and select Duplicate from the context menu. When the new setup has been created, rename it and expand it. Select the two toolpaths that were also copied and delete them. Be sure to activate the bottom setup. Next, we'll need to reorient the coordinate system. We'll leave the coordinate system where it is, but the Z direction is not right. Select the shaft of the Z direction arrow, and then pick a face that's normal to the direction that we want Z. For this, I'll select the bottom face of the portion of the model that will remain. If the Z-axis points the opposite direction, simply click on the arrowhead of the Z-axis to reverse it. Make sure that Y is going the right direction and that X is running along the length of the car. The model will still be selected as the two bodies, and go to Post-Process and add another number and say bottom, setting the coordinate system to 3. Next, we'll go ahead and create the toolpath. In this case, we'll go directly for a finishing toolpath, going to the scallop toolpath. Make sure that the tool is selected and that coolant is disabled. On the Geometry tab, set the working boundary to silhouette. Set the tool containment to be tool center on boundary. We'll want to use rest machining from previous operations. We'll set the avoid touch surfaces to be the solid again, plus all of the surfaces that make up the bottom of the car, as these will have already been cut by the previous operations. For the heights, we want the bottom to allow the tool to not go very far beyond the edge. In fact, with tool on center, it really shouldn't drop down at all, but just in case, we'll set the bottom offset to 22 from the model bottom. On the Passes tab, we'll set a small step over to try and get a finer finish. Again, this is something that you might choose to not do. And I'll use minimum retraction once again. Clicking OK, it will generate the toolpath, and you should be able to get a good visual idea of whether or not it's affecting the correct areas. Essentially, all we're looking to do is make sure that this contour has been set up, though we could have used an avoid surface on some of these, but mainly the air channel that flows under the car. Let's go take a look at our overall setup and do the simulation. This time I'll select stock, but I'll use a different material coloration. We'll use wall paint. It actually looks very similar to the stock model in finish. Having the more matte finish will also give you a better idea of what the process will look like when it comes off of the machine and give you an idea of how much sanding might be required to finish the car. The statistics on all of the operations are coming in at 17 minutes, and we can watch the whole process. We'll accelerate the speed to see just how it will be done.